All right, I've got Mel on. Mel is one of my students from the UK who finished the course. I want to say it was like 3 to 6 months ago. Time has no meaning right now.
Something like
Something
that.
around there. Mel, can you kind of tell me where were you at when you were thinking about joining the course? Like, where were you at with your money? What were some of the things that even brought you to my world in the first place?
So, I feel like I just didn't do money well. I tried my best to understand money and how to do it well, but I never seemed to be able to crack it. And I'm a single mom, and I realised that if I was to continue on this path, that my daughter didn't really have much hope on a multitude of levels. So, there was no security for her. And also, I didn't have the knowledge to pass over to her because I just didn't know what I was doing. So, I didn't have a pension. I didn't have like savings. Everything was just a mess. It just felt like I was just managing month to month. And I think, where has that money gone? Where have I spent this money? So I felt like, on top of that, I've had relationships in the past which have not been great, which have resulted in me losing a lot of money through them as well, through kind of that situation. And I felt like I needed to kind of empower myself, and I felt disempowered, if I'm honest, at that point. So yeah, that's why I looked in your direction. I've been following you for a while. So
Yeah, well, and I'm so glad you ended up joining the community because I know you've made a lot of changes, both like in your outlook on things, but also in your finances and in your personal life. What are some of the changes that you've made since you've completed the course?
So I have set myself up a self-invested personal pension, we call it in the UK, and I manage that myself. Just from doing your course, I've managed to set up the whole portfolio myself, and I only check it quarterly just to update the
Good.
wealth planner actually. So I do
Yes,
it,
that's
but the
smart.
money just goes out every month, and I don't, and if I have any extra, I throw that in there as well. Do you know what I mean? That's just what I do. It's become habitual now to do that. I have learned how to budget properly. I used your values-based budgeting approach, and that works for me really, really well because I feel like I'm actually following a system. And I've actually managed to put some savings away as well because I realised that actually I would have said before I haven't got enough money to do all of this, but I actually did. I just needed to know how to do it better.
Yeah. That's always the thing is like once we go through our spending, which so many of us we want to skip that part. Once we go through it, it's like, oh, I have resources here. It's just not going to where I want it to go. And like that in of itself feels good, right?
Yeah, yeah, really good, really
So
good.
so you're investing all on your own, you're budgeting now, and it sounds like how do you feel now? Like how would you compare how you feel now versus how you felt before?
I think the word to use is lighter, and I feel more secure, and I feel proud of myself actually, because I feel that, actually it was all in my grasp. I just needed the tools,
Mhm.
and it's, I feel like I'm actually doing things to make my life better, my daughter's life better, and I can sleep easy at night now, even though I'm not where I want to be yet. I'm on the path, and I'm
Yeah.
putting it out there that that's what I want and that's what I need to do, and it's wonderful. It really is. It's amazing.
Yeah, I love that. Has it impacted any other areas of your life where you're like, okay, getting my money right has allowed me to do this? Obviously, you're sleeping better, which is huge, but anything else that it's like opened up doors or given you confidence to do?
Yeah, it's just I just feel confident in my ability. It's completely changed my life for the better because I feel that, now I'm enjoying life a lot more.
Yeah.
I've got money. Allocate money for the things that make me happy.
Yeah.
So I feel like even though my income hasn't changed, my quality of life has improved. So
Yeah.
because we're just managing so much better. And I've set up a stocks and shares ISA for my daughter as well, So I feel like that's in place for her. And I've actually been teaching her through all of this about investments and assets and like the stock market. I got her doing some little drawings and
Oh my
helping her
gosh.
to understand it. And she's got her own little kids bank card now. So she does these little jobs, kind of little, just little tasks around the house and things. And she gets back and I said, right, how much you saving, how much you investing, and how much are you spending. So and so it's just I want her to know all this from young, which I never knew, and I wish I did.
Yeah. And how old is your daughter?
7.
Oh my gosh, I love that you're teaching her so young because it's like not only that, she's gonna view money as a tool now instead of this like heavy emotional burden that so many of us like end up feeling. So that's so cool. I love that.
And if I'd
Well,
have carried on that trajectory that I was on, that's the way she would have viewed money as well, because that would have been her money story.
yeah, exactly. And like now you're lighter. And so that's going to be part of her money story. You're more in control, you're happier, you're feeling more confident. And it's like you're literally passing that on. You're saying, like, this money trauma, it stops with me. Like it's no longer going to head on into this next generation, which I love. And that's so powerful.
Mm.
So in terms of, do you have any idea on like when you're on track to be able to retire or what you're kind of on track to retire with?
Um, so wow. I mean, I'm
The
trying
big
to
million dollar
increase.
question.
Yeah, yeah, it's not an easy question to answer, that is, because I really, I'm trying to push more into investing. So, because I'd really like to kind of retire a millionaire, that is my goal.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like I'm on track to sort of be halfway there at the
Okay.
moment, but I'd need to increase kind of, and that's where I'm at the moment. I'm looking at where I can make changes or extra income. I'm even been looking into a few side hustles just to
Yeah.
see how, because I'm determined to do it and I
Heck yeah.
know how to do it now and I feel confident. But yeah, that's something that I need to work on.
Yeah, but it's cool that you're even halfway on track. And then like what you just said, you're like, I know I want to retire a millionaire. So now I'm looking at everything that I can do to make that happen. Whereas like
Um,
before, with the theoretical light off on your finances where you're not paying attention to it, it's like you didn't even know if you were on track at all, if you were gonna get a half million or anything like that. And now that you know, like, oh, I gotta rev it up a little bit, it's like that's actually possible rather than waiting until 65 and being like, well, I never knew.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even have a pension. So like
Yeah.
now it's just so much better. And like and it's another thing I noticed as well on my wealth planner. I know it doesn't sound like a lot, but when I started out, my net worth was something like minus 25 grand, and now I'm up 8.5 grand. Do you know what
Heck
I
yeah.
mean? So I think
So
it's a small amount, but at least I'm not in the minus anymore.
that's not a small amount. Think about it. So you finished like 6 months ago, maybe, I
Yeah.
don't know for sure, but in 6 months you increase your net worth by $32,000. That's huge. From negative 25,000 to a positive 8,000, that's freaking huge. And it's like you said, you're like, I'm not making more money. I haven't struck rich or anything. I'm just using the money I do have properly or in a better, more intentional way. That's massive, Mel.
Well, when you put it like that.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And I mean, I love hearing that. And I'm so happy to hear that. And like, just imagine where you're going to be in a couple of years as well. And then also where your daughter is going to be. So,
Yeah.
so cool. Well, if you were thinking of like the perfect person to join the community, how would you describe that person? Like, who would you recommend this to?
I would recommend this to anyone who feels um that feels that they need that support with money in any way, shape, or form, but not just finance itself. Like the whole picture for me is money gives us um, security, empowerment, freedom, and I know it's so important. I know we don't like to emphasize money too much, and people say that money doesn't matter, but it does in so many ways because it's not actually the money itself, it's what it can give you and how it can make you feel. And
Mhm.
I feel if you are feeling in a place where you feel that you haven't got that power, or you feel like that you're relying on someone else, or you feel like you just don't know what to do, or you feel like you're just living month to month and you don't know way out, anything, if you just feel that you need that support, you are that person to change everything, because you are incredible and what you've created is incredible. And it's changed everything for me to the point I could cry.
You're making me really emotional. I'm just like, I like that's what I want for people, and to hear you say it so like confidently, and to like, I remember where you were when you joined. Like, I remember how worried you were and how nervous you were, and how you're just like, oh, I'm starting with literally nothing and not a lot on a month to month basis. You're like, I don't have a lot of money to invest every month. And now here you are 6 months later, and you're looking at me and you're like, I increased my net worth by 32K, not a big deal. And then you're also, you didn't increase your income, but you've created enough to make a $32,000 impact in such a short period of time. And you're just like, I'm happier, I'm freer. Like, if only this Mel could go back and like tell Mel from a couple years ago and just be like, hey, everything's going to be okay. But like, you're just, you got to learn how to do this stuff yourself, and you're doing it yourself. Like, I'm so freaking
Yeah,
proud of you. Like, you're
thank
doing
you.
it at the end of the day. I gave you the education and the coaching, but like at the end of the day, you're the one who's doing it. And like, you should be so proud of yourself, because like, incredible and incredible. And your daughter is going to be in such a better place because of it too. You and your daughter.
Thank you. Thank you. Although I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit there, Chloe, because honestly, you're just an incredible human, and you've created this incredible course that literally changes lives, and you're just a wonderful person to boot. So thank you.
So are you. And I'm so lucky to get to meet people like you in the community and work with you and help you with this stuff. So thanks for being a part of it. I'm so glad I've gotten to know you. Is there anything else you want to say before I let you go?
Um, yeah, everybody join Chloe's course. It'll change your life. Just do it. It's the best.
I didn't even pay her to say that, guys. So,
Nothing.
oh man, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about your experience.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. It's the least I can do.